Putting it all together, an overview. Hello, servicemen. Please hold your applause. This is the fifth and final video in the series. I'm Drew McLandrich. Please complete the survey that will be sent. In addition to receiving your score for the fifth survey, you will receive scores for all your surveys. Let's jump right in. Over the past months, I've hoped you found your work has been more enjoyable and that you've created more happy customers, even among customers who are initially unhappy. And by using the tips and techniques in this video, you have informed your customers about what else CI offers and what else CI can do for them. Each day, the primary reason you get up and go to work is to take care of your customers. Yes, we all need to provide for our families and our needs, but that only happens when we take care of our customers, and doing that includes taking care of your customers' equipment. I said includes because in addition to keeping your customers' equipment in good condition, it is the work of a Cincinnati serviceman to keep the customer himself in good condition, pleased and satisfied. Throughout the videos, CI's customer has been referred to as your customer because CI's hard-won customer is entrusted to you. No one sees your customer more than you do. CI's customer is your customer. When your customer is productive, his rice bowl is full, his wallet is full, and so in turn is yours. As Henry Ford reminded us, it is not the employer who pays wages. Employers only handle the money. It's the customer who pays the wages. We've learned that the natural forces, including human nature, are all around us. When we work with people the way they like to work and use the natural forces, like human nature, to our advantage, work is much easier and more enjoyable for everyone involved. In addition to being paid for what he does, professionals make what they do look terribly easy, and professionals give their best performance when they least feel like it. As a professional, in many ways, your work is like that of a physician. You diagnose, you prescribe, you treat. And like a good doctor, you have an impeccable bedside manner. As you know, your work involves more than fixing a machine. Your work involves making people well too. And your work is day in and day out. That's the real test. Though you have to move quickly, your work is not a sprint. Your work is not a marathon. It's an ultra-marathon, and at times it's gonna hurt. Please allow me to remind you to keep up with your difficult and relentless schedule, eating wisely, sleeping right, and vigorously exercising are vital. Just make sure your doctor says you're ready for vigorous exercise. And then may I suggest, get after it. Have you made time to take the Myers-Briggs test? Whether you have or not, please recall we all have our ways of viewing the world. We all have our ways of interacting with people and of gathering and processing information. And while we may not be able to do very much about these differences that we all have, just knowing these differences exist is valuable. In fact, we ourselves may not be the same person from day to day. We have talked about communication. Whenever your customer or the CI scheduler is thinking something different is going to happen than what is really actually going to happen, use your phone or email and let the right people know right away. Please don't spend time thinking about making or not making the call or sending or not sending the email. Make the call or the email automatic. Bad news delivered early can become good news. Bad news delivered late is always bad news. Of course, keep your messages and your voicemails simple and to the point. Just the facts is easy on everyone. We have been reminded that having precisely the right amount of communication is very difficult, if not impossible. So it's best to over-communicate slightly. It is much better to hear, "You already told me that," rather than to hear, "If you had only told me." When one is calling on Cincinnati business, it's best to stick to a tight and polite script. It's easier and trouble-free. Start with hello or good morning and your name. Hello, good morning, this is Drew McLandrich with CI. How are you today? Or if you feel it's proper, go ahead and use your first name. Next, ask, is this a good time for us to talk for a minute or two about preventative maintenance or whatever the subject might be? Or would you like me to call you back at a time that's more convenient for you? Getting permission to talk is vital. Permission creates a simple contract which allows you to proceed without feeling you're interrupting or feeling that you have to hurry. Of course, we recall that communication is a combination of the words spoken and how the words are spoken. Yes, sir, is such a combination. All three factors, our words, our tone, and our body language combine to deliver our message. Speaking of words, if and when you must deliver bad news, the calmer you can deliver the news, the calmer it will be received. Naturally, you must use your most confident and soothing voice. Deliver the news in a moderated pace. Break the news down into bite-sized pieces. Don't speak too fast just to get the news out quickly. Your customer will sense your assurance and react positively to it. Most importantly, finish your delivery of bad news with a realistic, positive, understandable way forward. Such deliveries require thoughtful planning and perhaps even rehearsal. Take a minute or three to plan and rehearse the news you are going to have to deliver. If a customer is asking for something you think is going to be tough to deliver, the last thing you want to do is jump right in with an explanation without confirming their true issue. Asking questions is often better than making statements. So you may want to ask, please let me make sure I understand exactly what you're saying. Am I hearing the software doesn't seem to be directing the cut correctly? Is that right? Asking probing questions to get to the heart of the customer's need is vital. Be sure to understand any deadlines involved or who might be pressuring your customer about this situation, or if your customer perceives a threat due to the issue. When there is a problem to be solved, an issue to be resolved, a work area to be cleaned, paperwork to be completed, may I suggest treat those things like a vampire in your castle. Once you know those problems, issues, paperwork need to be taken care of, drive a stake into the heart of them and be done with them. Don't just chase them into the basement, close the door, and think that you've got rid of them. Getting rid of vampires or problems doesn't work that way. If a problem, a loose end is ignored, not finished off, the problem, the loose end is still around. Drive a stake into the heart of the problem and be done with it. Yes, this means grinding through things that one would rather not ever want to do at all, and to have to do them exactly at the time when one feels the least like doing it. Of course, the completion of paperwork is as much a part of the work as taking care of your customer, as diagnosing the issue with the machine, and as repairing the machine. Incomplete paperwork simply means the job is not done, the hours are not accounted for, the job cannot be billed. Yes, paperwork comes at the end of the job when one is tired and one's sights are being set on the next job. Thus, at that time, when one least feels like it, one's best performance must be summoned. The last part of the job, the paperwork, must be done and done well. We have identified the CI Serviceman as an ambassador, the ambassador of CI. Being an ambassador involves seeing situations from different points of view while all the while maintaining and advocating your point of view. This ability draws other persons into your thinking and almost automatically broadens your outlook and softens your approach and tone. Of course, an ambassador always offers a pleasant greeting and a smile. The Cincinnati Serviceman looks and acts pleasantly, looks and acts with confidence, uses appropriate language and avoids vulgarities, learns and remembers people's names and calls them by their name, and lets them know his name. In addition to a professional demeanor, one's attire is an easy-to-control element, as is keeping one's tools in order. All these things are parts of the professional package that is the Cincinnati Serviceman. Another requirement of the ambassador is a difficult one: not to take personal comments and other unprofessional customer behaviors personally. At times, we have to work with difficult and upset customers. This is a fact of life of a Cincinnati Serviceman. To restate the 11th commandment, thou shalt not throw a Cincinnati teammate under the bus. Should a teammate let us down, send the wrong part, give us incorrect information, leave us a mess to clean up, it does CI no good to demean that teammate in an attempt to make ourselves look better, because it only makes CI look worse, disorganized, and petty. It is so much better to tell the customer the good news. The right part has been ordered and will be here Thursday. I have the correct information now, and I will have this machine up and running in short order. I will get this straightened up right away. Later, in the quiet councils of Cincinnati, far from your customers' eyes and ears, you can speak with those poor performing teammates. Working directly with customers is a large responsibility and a great opportunity. There is no doubt you handle both well. Bill Gates reminds us, your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. Let's face it, most always customers do not want to be difficult or unhappy. Your customers have their work to get done, their jobs to do. Most often, the work they need to get done is to make something. That's why they have equipment from Cincinnati, to make something. When their Cincinnati equipment is not working well, or at all, they cannot make what they need to make. Your customers cannot fill their rice bowl. Their wallet starts to empty, and that makes your customers grumpy. Oftentimes, this is the situation into which you enter. Given the circumstances of non-production, your customer's mood is understandable. Of course, the difference is your customer is permitted to be grumpy. He or she should not show you grumpiness, and especially not downright hostility, but sometimes that is the case. As said before, in a sad way, that's your customer's privilege. Perhaps a privilege your customer should not exercise, but a privilege nonetheless. All importantly, any sort of grumpiness is never the privilege of a CI Serviceman. Period. It's a one-way street, plain and simple. Of course, saying don't take it personally and actually not taking it personally are two very different things. Here on one hand, you're asked to make a serious and deep personal commitment to your work, to CI, and to taking care of your customers. And on the other hand, when your customer is unprofessional, you are asked not to take it personally. This is a difficult task. A task made even more difficult when one is being personally attacked. To handle a personal attack, ignore the substance of the personal attack and refocus the conversation on the business issue at hand. Stay calm. Don't forget to breathe. Get back to the business issue at hand. Please remember, a personal attack is a sign of weakness, not a sign of strength. It hurts. It's uncalled for. Forget it. Move on. There is no other option. Please recall, when speaking with a customer who is not having things go well, stand a comfortable distance away from your customer, one that does not invade his personal space, about 4 feet. Make and maintain eye contact, though this is not a stare down. Nod and change your facial expression so your customer knows you're listening. Find a comfortable place for your hands. Never put your hands on your hips. Do not interrupt. Stay quiet. When it's your turn to speak, do not debate. You have not come to this business to win a debate. You've come to this business to repair a machine so your customer can make the product that fills your customer's rice bowl, and so in turn, your customer can help fill yours. No matter the situation, it's all about complete and unwavering professionalism. And though no one enjoys being on the receiving end of a venting, you make it look terribly easy. You give your best performance, whether or not you feel like it. A true professional, a true CI serviceman, an ambassador, the best in the business. The following saying is true. Sales sells the first machine, service sells the second machine, and hopefully a third. Perhaps we all can agree, most all of us are selling most all of the time. The selling referred to is selling through our conduct, the way we interact with others, especially our customer. Selling through the work we do and how we do that work. Most likely, we all can agree poor conduct would be a negative force. Undesirable selling is conduct that could lead to losing a customer. Likewise, good conduct, or at the least neutral conduct, should enable us to hold on to a customer. And outstanding contact and outstanding action may enable us to make a customer into more of a Cincinnati customer. The verbal and nonverbal communications we have with all our customers take many forms. Every phone call we make, every email, or every conversation, or just the way we comport ourselves, our attire, the condition we leave the area in which we were working, are all statements, dare it be said, selling statements about ourselves and the company we represent. It's simple, fundamental cause and effect. The work of a CI serviceman is best done by addressing the early parts of the sales process. When informing your customer about preventative maintenance or a CI machine that will make your customer's life easier and improve his productivity or reduce his scrap, here's the way to do it. Pick the right time and place. Have a piece of literature with you. To introduce a new machine, all one needs to say is, here is a machine you may want to know about. I have seen this machine in action. It is a time saver. Here's some information. Once again, to introduce a new service or a new product, all one needs to do is strike up a conversation at the right time, in the right place, by making an observation. The observation you make is about what you have seen in other facilities and how what you are suggesting your customer consider is something you have seen pay dividends at other facilities. Then follow up as your customer requests. Thank you for being a true professional, a CI serviceman, an ambassador, the best in the business.